Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. All of you are late today. It's already 2:07. So let's start. Today we'll complete our waves and oscillation, and it takes maximum 15 to 20 minutes. So then we will move new part of our syllabus, electricity magnetism. So in last section we completed wave motion. So a wave is traveling like this. So this is the velocity of the wave, and this is the particle motion, right? Particle motion. It is SSM, right? So another wave, suppose it's like this. So that means the first case, displacement of the particle along y-axis. Displacement of the particle along y-axis here. Particle means whose particle? Which particle? Which particle? Particle of the medium, right? Displacement of particle of medium along y-axis. Here, this is along x-axis, right? So if they act individually, independently, so the particle of the medium oscillate along y-axis, and displacement of the particle here along x-axis in case of two. But if these two wave set together in a medium like this, and another one, what will be the oscillation of the particle? How do you think? If two wave, one is moving along x-axis, another is moving along y-axis, so what will be the motion of the particle? If they act alone, they means along x-axis, along y-axis independently, displacement of the particle will be simple harmonic SHM, or it's also SHM. But if they act together, what will be the resultant motion of the particle? What will be the resultant vibration of the particle? So here x-axis and y-axis, they are right angle. So suppose the displacement of the particle in right angle, displacement of particles At right angle means 90 degree. Angle, that means 90 degree. So displacement can be written as y equal to a1 cos omega 1 t plus suppose phi 1, and along x-axis this is equal to a2 cos omega 2 t plus phi 2. So phase difference and angular velocity, angular frequency also different. So if we consider initially omega 1 equal to omega 2 equal to omega, that means angular frequency initially angular frequency are same. So what it will be? If they are same, so you will get y equal to a1 cos omega t and sorry, x equal to a2 cos omega t plus phi. So here phase difference between two waves or two oscillation waves equal to phi, right? So if they are in phase, is on, suppose phi equal to 0. What does it mean? Both are in phase. So what will you get? Y equal to a1 cos omega t and x equal to a2 cos omega t also. So what we will get? Y by x, a1 divided by a2, right? Cos omega t cancel by another cos omega t. So y equal to a1 by a2 into x. This is equation of straight line, right? Straight line with slope a1 by a2. That means when two waves are in phase, they cross each other, the resultant vibration of the particle is like this. This is the path of the particle. It vibrates like this in straight line, but slope of the straight line is a1 by a2. So if we consider different phase angle different, like case 2, the phase is pi by 2. How do you think what it will be? If phi equal to pi by 2, case 2, phi equal to pi by 2, what do you think? So y equal to a1 cos omega t and x equal to a2 cos omega t plus pi by 2. What it will be? Anyone? Do you know cos theta plus pi by 2? What it will be? কি হবে? Cos theta plus pi by 2? Anyone here? So it will be minus sin theta. Do you know it? So it will be minus sin theta into sin theta. So what it will be finally? So y equal to a1 cos omega t. So you can write y by a1 equal to cos omega t and x equal to a2 minus sin omega t and x by a2 equal to minus sin omega t. So square it. এটাকে square করো and square it again and you will get y square a square plus x square a square equal to 1. So this is equation of ellipse. This is equation of ellipse. SC or C, I'm not sure. Ellipse. So and movement of the particle is anti-clockwise. No, sorry, clockwise. This is one plus. That is why it is convention plus 1. So it will be clockwise. The problem. Try again. It's not work. And the movement of the particle will be clockwise like this. Clockwise. If you consider, it will be pi equal to pi. If we consider phi equal to pi, so what will be the phi equal to pi? If if we consider phi equal to pi, phase 3 this on, and you will get y equal to a2 by a1, that's the minus. So your phi equal to pi case 3. Are you hearing me? Hello? হ্যালো, শুনতে পাচ্ছ তোমরা?
Yes, sir. শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
মাঝখানে মনে হয় আমি কি অফ হয়ে গেছিলাম?
সবে আসছে।
So we're talking case 3, phi equal to pi. So we'll get y equal to a1 cos omega t and x equal to a2 cos omega t plus pi. What it will be? It will be minus cos omega t. Okay, so you can write y equal to minus a1 by a2 into x. So your path of the particle is like this. The slope is negative. So this is the path of the particle. So depends on the phase difference. Depends on the phase difference. Phase difference and amplitude. Difference in amplitude. The path of the particle sometimes straight line and sometimes curve. So this path of the particle is known as Lysa's figure. So what is Lysa's figure? Particles influence simultaneously to simple harmonic motion, that means two harmonic wave at right angle to each other. The resultant motion of the particle be a curve. This curve is called Lysa's figure. The shape of the curve depends on time period, that means frequency, phase difference, and amplitude of the wave. So in last section we got phase difference pi equal to pi by 2, but it will be y equal to a1 cos omega t and x equal to a2 cos omega t plus pi by 2. So this will be minus a2 sin omega t. So you can write it y square by a square plus x square by a square equal to 1, right? And if a1 equal to a2, then it will be x square plus y square equal to a square. Do you know what is this equation? This is equation of a
So Pythagoras
circle.
or circle.
Equation of a circle of radius a. Equation of a circle.
স্যার এখানে এমপ্লিটিউডটা রেডিয়াস হিসেবে কাজ করবে স্যার
Amplitude
রেডিয়াস
radius. Yeah, yes. Again, amplitude radius. So this is the particle move. Can you imagine when a particle is oscillating simple harmonically like this, and another is oscillating this? If the frequency, that means omega, of both are same, that means this angular frequency and this angular frequency are same, both of them are same, and you will find the particle oscillating like this. It is moves in a circle. Independently, individually, they are oscillating simple harmonically. Simple harmonically, they are oscillating. There means particles of the medium. But if two waves are simultaneously act in a medium, and this is the condition, frequency should be same, amplitude should be same, and the particle of the medium move in a cyclic, moves on a cycle or traces a cycle. This is known as Lissajous figure. So you may find them in oscilloscope when two sinusoidal wave, one is cosine, another is sine, and one is along y-axis, another is along x-axis, and you can find you can make the difference in phase or time period or frequency. Then you will find different shape of the particle of the medium. That means the path of the particle will be different if they are acting alone. মানে কোন একটা ওয়েভ যদি একটা মিডিয়ামে acting alone, then you apply another wave right angle to the previous one, so the resultant vibration of the particle of the medium will be different than the previous movement. So this paths of the particle is known as Lissajous figure. So waves and oscillation, I want to wrap here. So do you have any confusion from the beginning to this point? That means Lissajous figure. Do you have? Then we'll discuss, and if there is no confusion, so I want to move next part of the syllabus, electricity and magnetism. Tell me, do you have any confusion up to now? And last night, last evening, I have uploaded. হ্যাঁ, সিটি এটা আমরা সিলেবাসটা কি বলেছিলাম লাস্ট ক্লাসে? এটাই
ডিএইচএম আর ওয়েভের কথা বলছিলেন।
হ্যাঁ, এটা ওয়েভের মধ্যে ছোট একটা পার্ট। ডিএইচএম plus wave motion, and Lissajous figure is very small part here. You can give a look there. So this is the syllabus of CT2. It will be held on August 18. This is the last class before meet. It is Wednesday, is it?
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, okay.
এখন যেটা পড়ানো শুরু করবেন স্যার ইলেকট্রিক্যাল
এটা
ওটাও
এটা
আলাদা
ফাইনালে
করে।
নিয়ে কথা বলবো। ফাইনালে থাকতে পারে, তখন আমরা কথা বলবো এটা নিয়ে। সরি, ফাইনাল বলছি, মিড টার্ম এক্সামে থাকতে পারে। হ্যালো শাহিদুল ইসলাম,
Yes, sir.
what time is it?
স্যার আমার বাসায় কারেন্ট ছিল না স্যার।
There is so many excuses you have, right? So you'll not get any. What is your ID?
স্যার 062 আছে
Starting with
163
16.
3
So okay. So
স্যার আজকে
there
তো
are
স্যার
so
আপনি
many
ওই যে
excuses.
ইউনিভার্সিটির লিংক তো আমাদের দেওয়া হয় না, এই কারণে হচ্ছে সবার লেট হয়েছে।
না, সবাই জানে যে
আগে
ক্লাস
লিংক
আছে।
দিলেই তো স্যার আমরা জয়েন করছি।
সবাই জানে যে ক্লাস আছে এবং কিভাবে জয়েন করতে হবে সেটাও জানে। এটা লিংকটা তো দেওয়া আছে এসে, এলএমএস এর
স্যার
লিংক আছে না?
আমাদের স্যার মেকআপ ক্লাস থাকলে ইনভাইটেশন লিংক চলে আসে তো স্যার, অটোমেটিক্যালি ওটা চলে যায়, মানে ইয়ার নোটিফিকেশন আসে।
সবার একই রকম হবে? ইউ ডোন্ট থিংক সো? ইউ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড মি? কিভাবে লিংক যায় তোমাদের কাছে?
স্যার ইনভাইটেশন লিংক যে স্যার মানে মেকআপ ক্লাস,
কিভাবে, হাউ?
স্যার ওইটা ইনভাইটেশন লিংক হচ্ছে মেইল করে পাঠানো হয় স্যার।
আজকে আমারটা পাঠায় নাই?
স্যার ক্যালেন্ডারে
জি
থাকে
না
স্যার।
স্যার,
ক্যালেন্ডারে তো মেকআপ ক্লাস থাকে না। ক্যালেন্ডারে যদি কেউ কপি করে দেয় তাহলে মেকআপ ক্লাস থাকবে
জি স্যার, হ্যাঁ।
সেখানে। কেউ যদি কপি করে ক্যালেন্ডারে রাখে তবেই ইনভাইটেশনে যাবে, আদারওয়াইজ নো। You know you have class, your class link is on LMS, so this is not the excuse to be late. So our next part of the syllabus, electricity and magnetism. These are the chapters in electricity and magnetism. And first chapter is concept of charge and Coulomb's law. And this is the first chapter, concept of charge and Coulomb's law. So concept of charge. Do you know what is charge? Do you have any idea about charge? Chapter 1. Coulomb's law. So concept of charge. So what is the idea or charge? What is your idea? About charge? Do you have any idea, or you don't know nothing about charge? Do something? Any idea? Anything you know about charge? Have you heard the word? শুনেছো নাকি এটা? চার্জ এই ওয়ার্ডটা শুনেছো?
জি স্যার, পজিটিভ চার্জ, নেগেটিভ চার্জ,
Yes, very
ফ্লো
good.
অফ ইলেকট্রন।
Yes, yes. Positive charge, negative charge. It's very good. But what does it mean? What does it mean? Charge. Is there any meaning, or there is no meaning? Is it meaningful word, or there is no meaning of this word? এটার মানে বাংলা জানো না, না? বাংলা জানো না বলেই বলতে পারো, মানে বললা না বাংলা। যেমন আমি যখনই একটা কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করতাম তখনই বলতা যে
স্যার আমরা
তো
চার্জ
বাংলাটা
মানে
বলতা।
জানি যে স্যার এটা অ্যাটমে থাকে, তো
Yes.
হচ্ছে বাইরের
আর
কক্ষপথে
কি
ঘুরে
স্যার,
বেড়ায়,
এটাকে
এটুকুই স্যার
আরেকটা
আমাদের
নামে
আইডিয়া,
জানি স্যার,
তাছাড়া আমরা
আধান।
কিছুই জানি না।
আধান
বাংলা
নামে এটা পরিচিত আছে কেউ কেউ, আধান।
আধান, এটার বাংলা তো, তাই না? সেজন্যই বলছি যে বাংলাটা মনে হয় জানো না। ও বললো যে অ্যাটমে থাকে এটা, এবং এটা
বাইরে
বাইরে ঘোরে, অ্যাটমের
বাইরের
বাইরে ঘোরে।
কক্ষপথ। জি স্যার।
বাইরের কক্ষপথ, অ্যাটমের বাইরে নাকি অ্যাটমের মধ্যেই কক্ষপথটা?
স্যার অ্যাটমের ভিতরে স্যার নিউক্লিয়াসে তো প্রোটন আর হচ্ছে নিউট্রন থাকে, আর বাইরে ইলেকট্রন, স্যার এতটুকুই আইডিয়া স্যার।
আচ্ছা, ভেরি গুড, ইটস গুড এনাফ, প্রসিড। আর কেউ? ইউয়ান? হ্যাঁ বলো।
ওর তার এক্সপ্লেনেশনটা গুড এনাফ ছিল।
Which one? I will tell. But I want to know about your position, where you are.
Sir,
What do you know about charge?
my position?
Yes. No, your. Not you. Any of you.
Oh.
What do you know about the position? Means level of knowledge about charge. You understand me? Not position. What do you know about charge? What is your idea about charge? I talk like this.
Sir, as far as I know, there is like positive charge, negative charge, then there's
Yeah.
neutral charge.
But before positive charge, negative charge, there is charge. And what is this?
Proton, neutron, electron.
Neutron is the charge.
No, it's neutral charge, I guess. Zero, no charge.
So neutral charge is not charge, actually.
Yes.
So before going to the definition, I would like to demonstrate an example. Two glass rod, one is suspended, another is at your hand. If you bring them nearer, like the figure left one, this figure A. So if you bring them nearer, there will be no action between them. But if you rubbed by silk cloth both glass rod and bring them nearer, you will find one rod repel another. It's a surprising, because surprising action event, right? Because before rubbing with silk cloth, there is no action between them. But when both rods are rubbed by silk cloth and bring them nearer, you will find both rods are repel one another. That means suspended rod move away from your rod at your hand. And if one rod is replaced by plastic rod, and plastic one is rubbed by far. It's another type of cloth. Far, and bring them nearer, you will find the suspended rod attract the plastic rod. That means suspended glass rod moves towards the plastic rod. Why this action why does this action take place, and how do you get any lesson from this? So before rubbing, there is no
Surface statistics.
there is no action between them, but after rubbing by silk cloth or plastic rod by far, you find some attraction and repulsion between rods. So what happened during rubbing?
So during rubbing, the charges or the electrons that passes through the glass and makes it electrocuted, and as a result, that creates a charge among them. And for as we know that positive charge always repel with each other, and negative charge and the same charge always repel each other, and the opposite charge always act with each other, and that's what happens.
So during rubbing, the rods are charged, right? You are saying that during rubbing rods are
স্যার ঘর্ষণের ফলে একটা ম্যাগনেটিক ফিল্ড তৈরি
no
হইতেছে
I am not right. During rubbing, the plastic rod as well as glass rod, they are charged. So before rubbing, why they are not show any action? Before rubbing, why they are not show any action? What happened before
So
rubbing?
before
And
rubbing,
after,
the both substance were in their position, but after rubbing,
in their position, what does it mean? And after
in their
rubbing,
position,
they
that's-
change their position. Do you
no,
think so?
they were in their specific, like they are in their position. The charges were not converted. Like
No. Actually not. So before rubbing, the number of total charge, that means positive and negative charge, are equal in both rods.
স্থিতিশীল অবস্থায় থাকে স্যার
This is known as equilibrium. And when you rub one rod by silk cloth, some charge from silk cloth transfer, some negative.
ও স্যার মনে পড়ে গেছে, মানে সারফেস ইলেকট্রন গুলো অন্য রডে ট্রান্সফার হয়ে যায়
অন্য অবজেক্টে। এখানে ইউ রাব বাই সিল্ক ক্লথ, সো electron from glass rod transferred to the silk cloth, and as a result, glass rod turns to positive charge. And when you rub silk plastic rod by far, it is some electron from far transferred to the plastic rod, and plastic rod is negatively charged. So before it is let's say when you rubbed by silk cloth, that is glass rod rubbed by silk cloth, it is positively charged, and unlike charge attract one another. But till now we did not get the definition of charge. Did you get? We got one object is positive, another object is negative. They attract one another, and both if are positive, they repel one another. Till now we did not get the definition of charge. Charge is the intrinsic property of the elementary particle. which made up of object. An object made up of very small unit or building block of the object is known as atom. And atom comprise with or consists of elementary particle, and these are known as electron, proton, and neutron. Protons and neutrons are in nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. During rubbing, electron transfer from one object to another object. Proton, there is no role of charging an object. There is no role of charging an object because it is inside the nucleus. It is not possible to transfer from one object to another object. Only electron can transfer from one object to another object. So,
Sir,
charge is an intrinsic property of elementary particle. So, elementary particle is electron, proton, and neutron. So, during their formation, they embedded this property embedded to this particle. হ্যাঁ বলো কি বলছিল?
স্যার ইলেকট্রন যখন ট্রান্সফার হয় তখন কি মানে যেই অবজেক্ট থেকে ট্রান্সফার হচ্ছে ওইটা আনস্টেবল হয়ে যায় না স্ট্রাকচারালি অথবা
না, স্ট্রাকচার আনস্টেবল হয় না। স্ট্রাকচার আনস্টেবল হয় না। তাহলে এই যে বিফোর রাবিং net charge on the object will be 0, net charge, because number of proton and number of electron of the object will be equal, and this is known as equilibrium. একজন বলল স্থিতিশীল থাকে। তো when electron transfer from one object, very important question, one object to another object, the structure will not change, of atomic structure will not change, because atomic structure does not depend only on the electron, orbiting electron around the nucleus. It depends on the nucleus of the atom, because hydrogen, it has one proton in the nucleus and one electron orbiting around the nucleus. This is nucleus. If somehow you remove the electron from the hydrogen atom, so this is H plus. It is hydrogen ion. Do you understand? And if
Yes,
you consider oxygen atom, there are how many? 8 proton and 8 neutron in the nucleus, and around the orbit there will be 8 electron. If you remove 2 electrons from the oxygen atom, it will like this. This is known as oxygen ion. So structure, that means it will not transfer to other atom. It will not transfer to nitrogen, or it will not transfer to carbon, not like that. You understand? So it is known as ion of the atom. So when you rub an object with another object, if there will be some transfer of, and this is very small amount, not so much, a very small amount of total charge in the object compared to the total charge in the object, very small amount transfer one object to another. So before rubbing the glass rod,
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন করবো স্যার এখান থেকে।
হ্যাঁ বলো।
আমরা তো জানি যে সবগুলা হচ্ছে এই মৌলগুলা হচ্ছে 18 নম্বর গ্রুপ, মানে হচ্ছে নিষ্ক্রিয় মৌলের মতো হতে চায়, তখন তো স্যার ইলেকট্রন ছেড়ে দিতে হয় অথবা গ্রহণ করতে হয়। তখন যদি মানে অক্সিজেনের 8 আছে,
ওইটা
অক্সিজেনের 2টা গ্রহণ করে যদি স্যার
ওইটা আমি বলি, ওইটা হলো কেমিক্যাল রিঅ্যাকশনের সময়।
এখানে
এখানে
স্যার
না, এখানে না, এখানে না, ওইটা হলো কেমিক্যাল রিঅ্যাকশনের সময় ওইটা ভাবি। বুঝতে পেরেছো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ বুঝতে পারছি স্যার, অক্সিজেনের 2টা ছেড়ে দিল।
এখানে কোনো রিঅ্যাকশন হয় না, এখানে এই যে সিল্ক ক্লথ সিল্কই থাকে এবং গ্লাসই থাকে, নো চেঞ্জ দেয়ার প্রপার্টি।
স্যার তাহলে তো ইলেকট্রন কমে যাবে না স্যার?
হ্যাঁ, ইলেকট্রন, গ্লাস রডের ইলেকট্রন, ভেরি ফিউ of electron transfer from glass rod to silk cloth. That is why glass transferred to positive charge object. এবং সিল্ক ক্লথ যেহেতু ইলেকট্রন অ্যাবজর্ব করেছে, তাহলে সিল্ক ক্লথটা হবে নেগেটিভলি চার্জড অবজেক্ট। And during this, there is no change in property of glass as well as silk. এখানে যেটা বললাম আমি, যে এটা যদি একটা ইলেকট্রন চলে যায়, তাহলে যেটা যে থাকবে সেটা হলো হাইড্রোজেন নিউক্লিয়াস, রাইট? হাইড্রোজেন আয়ন, এবং এটা হাইড্রোজেনের প্রপার্টি ক্যারি করবে। When it get chance to get 1 or 2 electron or 1 electron, then it will again accept this electron. বুঝতে পেরেছো? যে কিছু অবজেক্ট আছে, কিছু মেটেরিয়াল আছে, those easily can release electron, or some of other group they easily accept electron. যেমন এখানে যে এক্সাম্পলটা আমি বললাম, যে সিল্ক ক্লথ ফার, ইফ ইউ rubbed by far, plastic rod rubbed by far, what happened here? এটা নেগেটিভ হচ্ছে, that means far transfer electron to the plastic rod, and far itself is a positive charge, but plastic rod accept electron, and that means gain electron, and it transferred to the negative charge object. There is no chemical reaction takes place here, and during chemical reaction they produce new type of object. Here glass, it has its own property, but it lost some electron and it transferred to positive. এখানে হাইড্রোজেনটা কিন্তু কি double plus. What does it mean? The here is 2 electron lost from this atom, right? তার মানে এই অ্যাটমটা এখন পজিটিভলি চার্জড। এখন তুমি যদি এখন একটা বাল্ক অ্যামাউন্ট অফ হাইড্রোজেন অ্যাটম এরকম ভাবে ইলেকট্রন রিমুভ করে নাও, তাহলে টোটাল গ্যাসটা কি হবে? চার্জড গ্যাস, তাই না? এতে অক্সিজেনের কিন্তু কোনো প্রপার্টি চেঞ্জ হবে না। অক্সিজেনের যে প্রপার্টি আছে এটা চেঞ্জ হবে না। ইউ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড? তুমি
বুঝতে
যেটা
পারছি
বলছো এটা কেমিস্ট্রির কথা বলেছো, যে কেমিস্ট্রিতে যে দে accept or they release their electron and they chemically react with one another and produce a new object. Here chemical reaction does not take place, and individually, independently they stay separately. যে গ্লাস রড, এটা গ্লাস রডের প্রপার্টি থাকবে, গ্লাসের প্রপার্টি থাকবে, এবং প্রত্যেকটা অ্যাটম অথবা মলিকুল, গ্লাসের মলিকুল, এটা গ্লাস মলিকুল হিসেবেই থাকবে, বাট ভেরি ফিউ অফ দেম লস্ট দেয়ার ইলেকট্রন, দোজ আর ভেরি ক্লোজ টু দ্য সারফেস অফ দ্য গ্লাস রড। বুঝতে পেরেছো? তাহলে চার্জটা হলো, আমরা তাহলে কি বুঝলাম, যে চার্জ is a property of elementary particle, and it is said that intrinsic property, that means when electron create or is it possible to create an electron now? Do you think it is possible to create a proton or to create a neutron? Is it possible?
না স্যার।
No. তার মানে when they are produced, when they are created, it is embedded. It is embedded to the particle, and these are the elementary particle, and these have this property. This elementary particle possesses this property, and this is known as charge. And how do you label them? কিভাবে তাদেরকে আমরা বললাম নেগেটিভ এবং পজিটিভ? And অনেক আগে, how long it is, maybe last century or 18th century, not in 19th, 18th century, Benjamin Franklin, an American scientist, he labeled them using algebraic sign plus and minus. He said charge of an electron is negative and charge of an electron is proton is positive, and they are equal. They are equal. So of course there is reason behind it, because reason behind it because
স্যার
because
যদি কম থাকতো তাহলে ইলেকট্রন হচ্ছে যে নিউক্লিয়াসে ঢুকে যেত, তখন তো এই ইয়েটা আমরা
অ্যাটমিক স্ট্রাকচারটা ডিস্ট্রয় হয়ে যেত,
স্যার
তাই না?
রাদারফোর্ডের এটা স্যার এটা ভুলের কারণে স্যার ইয়া বোর ইয়া করছে স্যার।
Yes. So you know atomic structure good very well. So he labeled them electron charge is negative, use algebraic sign, and proton charge is positive. And he can he could anything proposed to express the types of charge. যেমন যে কোনোটাই বলতে পারতেন, but nowadays we can understand this is the appropriate one, right? Positive charge and negative charge is very appropriate labeling, তাই না?
ইয়েস স্যার।
এটা ছাড়া অন্য কিছু হলেই মনে হয় ভালো হতো না, এটাই বেটার, এটাই বেস্ট। And we can conclude the demonstration. The like charge, when you when glass rod is rubbed by silk cloth, both rod are in same sign, তাই না? তারা সেম চার্জ গেইন করে অথবা সেম চার্জড অবজেক্ট হয়, সেম চার্জ অবজেক্ট হয়। সো they repel on another, তার মানে like charge repel on another. And on the other hand, when you rub this plastic rod by far and bring nearer to the glass rod, and they attract. So during rubbing of plastic rod by far, it gain electron and it is negatively charged, and unlike charge attract one another. Okay, so we can conclude that charge is the, what is this? Charge is intrinsic property of elementary particle. Elementary particle means those particle or atom made up from this particle. So elementary particles are electron, proton, and neutron. Neutron is electrically neutral, but proton, it has charge, and electron, it has also charge. So electron is negatively charged of elementary particle, and proton is positively charged particle. So how do we visualize it? So there's many way. That means when we bring to glass rod rubbed by silk cloth, then you bring them nearer and you will find they repel on another. So in this way you can visualize them. And there are some method you can charge object, and there are many examples which we observe in our daily life. When you put off your sweater in a winter day, you hear some sound, right? And this
Yes,
is
sir.
when the sweater is friction in another cloth, so they charge. And we know very familiar, very popular demonstration, comb and piece of paper. When you,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it's a very popular example. And when you walk on a carpet, of course, in dry weather, walk in a carpet and touch a doorknob, what you will feel spark. You doorknob, or you touch your friend, you feel spark. During walking on the carpet, you absorb or transfer charge, and when you touch a doorknob, the charge transfer from your body to metal doorknob. In this way, we can find the effect of charge. Okay. So here is the property of elementary particle, electron. The mass of electron is this charge of electron, and proton and neutron. So these are the property of the elementary particle. And this property, like this property, that's mass, and also charge is a property of the elementary particle. And these are embedded during their creation. And nobody injured it, and nobody cannot remove this charge from electron. Do you understand me? So কেউই এটা নতুন করে আর চার্জ সেখান থেকে বের করে নিতে পারবে না, অথবা কেউ এটাকে কোনো চার্জ এখানে ইনজার্ট করতে পারবে না, দিতে পারবে না। So this is the elementary property of the so we got it. Electric charge is an intrinsic characteristic fundamental particle, like which made up of object. Fundamental particle or elementary particle, this is synonyms. Fundamental particle, elementary particle, this is the same. Automatically to them automatically, or embedded during their creation. So we have already said the total charge in an object is 0. Net charge in an object is 0. This is known as balance or equilibrium. And when you rub by one object to another, there will be charge transfer from one object to another object. And Benjamin Franklin, he labeled the positive and negative charge. I said it already. So there are processes which we can charging an object: friction, contact, and induction. And electrostatic, here we consider glass rod and plastic rod, right? Glass rod and plastic rod. So if we consider copper or iron rod, what happens? বুঝতে পেরেছো?
স্যার আরেকবার একটু বলতেন।
আমরা যদি গ্লাস রড এবং প্লাস্টিক রড না ইউজ করে use copper or iron rod, what happened? Here we use glass rod to demonstration action of charge, right? Glass rod, they repel on another. Here glass rod attract the plastic rod, right? এখন আমরা যদি দুটোই কপার রড অথবা আয়রন রড ইউজ করতাম তাহলে কি হতো বা করি নেই কেন? This is the question. Simple question. এখানে দেখতে পাচ্ছ যে এই পোর্শনটুকুই হলো চার্জড, দেখা যাচ্ছে? This part is charged, there is no charge here. That means you rubbed this part of the glass rod. So charge cannot move through the rod. That because this is insulator. This is insulator. So charge cannot move through the glass rod, তাই না? Other parts এ যেতে পারছে না।
স্যার আদার পার্টসে স্যার নেগেটিভ পজিটিভ ব্যালেন্স আছে জন্যই তো স্যার এটা
না, এই পার্টটা শুধু রাব করা হয়েছে। This part is rubbed by the, so যদি এটা প্লাস কপার রড হতো তাহলে কি হতো? কপার ইজ কন্ডাক্টর, তার মানে এই চার্জটা পুরোটাতেই চলে যেত এবং if you touch it and if you touch it, what happened? Charge transfer to your body, right? So there is a movement of the charge in the conductor. That is why we cannot find the demonstrate এই ফেনোমেনাটা, এই ইভেন্টটা আমরা দেখতে পেলাম না। তুমি যেটা এটা হাতে ধরে আছো তার মানে পুরো চার্জটা তোমার এখান থেকে নেগেটিভ চার্জ, তোমার বডি থেকে নেগেটিভ চার্জ মুভ টু দা গ্লাস রড এবং ইট উইল নিউট্রাল, তাই না? এটা নিউট্রাল হয়ে যেত। সো উইল নট ফাইন্ড দা রিপালশন। সো দিস ইজ নোন অ্যাজ ইলেকট্রোস্ট্যাটিক্স, মানে চার্জ যেখানে মুভ করে না। Charge transfer from one object to another object during rubbing, but after the rubbing, no movement of the charge. No movement of the charge. This is known as electrostatic. So here also plastic rod, it is insulator, and no charge movement during the after rubbing. So this is known as electrostatic, and electrostatic study of the electricity are not in motion, right? চার্জ মুভ করবে না, মানে যে জায়গাটুকুতে তুমি চার্জড হলো, অবজেক্টের যে পোর্শনটুকু চার্জড হবে, চার্জটা সেখানেই থাকবে। It will not move from one place to another place. Okay, so this is known as electrostatics. And electrostatics based on 4 fundamental facts. 4 fundamental facts are conservation of charge, quantization of charge, Coulomb's law, and principle of superposition. Quantization of charge, conservation of charge, Coulomb's law, and principle of superposition. So here you will get some a chart. Those left side lose electron easily, and right side those accept electron or gain electron easily. So air, it is easily lost electron. Human hands lost easily electron. Glass, আমরা দেখলাম যে কি গ্লাস কি করে, যখন তুমি সিল্ক ক্লথ দিয়ে এটাকে রাব করে ইলেকট্রন লস করে এটা পজিটিভ হয়। অন দ্য আদার হ্যান্ড দেখো রাইট সাইডে ফার থাকতে পারে, এটা ইজিলি ইলেকট্রন গেইন করে। টেফলন, ফার, হোয়ার ইজ ফার? ফার ইজ দ্য রাইট সাইড। সো এটা লস ইলেকট্রন ইজিলি, তাই না? ফার কি করে? ফার যখন তুমি প্লাস্টিক are on type of cloth suppose. তো তুমি যখন এটাকে প্লাস্টিক রডকে এটা দিয়ে রাব করো তখন এখান থেকে ইলেকট্রন মানে ফার থেকে ইজিলি ইলেকট্রন ট্রান্সফার টু দ্য plastic rod. Easily transfer electron from far to the plastic rod, right? So plastic rodটা কি হবে এখান থেকে ফার থেকে যদি প্লাস্টিক রডে ইলেকট্রন ট্রান্সফার হয় তাহলে far will be positive and plastic rod will be negative, right? Do you have any idea of course you have an idea conductor and insulator. Conductors, those key those materials
can conduct electricity can
No.
pass electricity.
Those materials is very of course it is a high atomic number, so some electrons are far from the nucleus and they are loosely bound to the nucleus, and when you apply potential difference, electron can easily move through this material, right? Usually they are higher atomic number, so those are electrons, those are far from the nucleus, they are loosely bound, and when a potential difference, we will know it later what is potential and potential difference. তো যখন এই potential difference establish করা হয় তখন easily electron move through the object, and this is the nucleus and electron is far from the nucleus. Electron move through the material easily, right? And this is the very close to the nucleus. Binding energy is very high here. Insulator. So electron is very close to the nucleus. So binding energy is very strong. So not easily, even not easily, or even absolutely no flow of electron through the material or matter is known as insulator. Free to move, and here free to move. In this case, in insulator, they are free to move from one place to another place of the material, but it is not free to move. They are tightly bound inside the atom. Inside the atom means very close to the nucleus. That is why this is known as insulator. In between them, there is known as semiconductor. Right? Semiconductor is usually it is insulator, but sometimes it behave like conductor. This is known as semiconductor. Very few electron, very few of electron move from one place to another place of in the object, but in certain if you can use it as a conductor or more than conductor, like semiconductor diode. So these four empirical facts. Empirical means experimental. Four experimental or empirical fact based on electrostatics. So conservation of charge, quantization of charge, and Coulomb's law. Then another one is principles. During Rabi, do you think electron or positive charge create on the glass rod, or negative charge create on plastic rod? If we go back to the first slide, during rubbing or after rubbing, you got charged charged glass rod, and this is positive. Do you think the positive charge is created here, or it is negative charge? What do you think? No, no charge created. Only transfer from one object to another object. During rubbing glass rod by silk cloth, here glass rod lost some electron, and the silk cloth gain this electron. So before rubbing and after rubbing, total charge of the system remains constant. So this is known as conservation of charge. Do you know conservation of charge? Example of conservation of charge. When two electron or pair, electron and positron, if you pass them in a nucleus of heavy nucleus of heavy atom or heavy nucleus of atom, then they destroy and gamma ray produce. What will be the left side? Total charge on the left side here. The first equation. Total charge left side 0. Positron plus electron. Positron is positive electron. Equal character, equal mass, but charge is positive. So total charge of the left side is 0, and right side also gamma ray, it also 0. And if you project a gamma ray in a nucleus of heavy atom, and there are pair of electron and positron produced. So this is known as pair production, and previous is known as annihilation. Annihilation means two particles destroy and energy emit, and pair production means from energy two particles emitted. So this is known as pair production. So conservation of charge means total charge remain constant or conserved before and after of the event. This is known as conservation of charge. About time, we have a few minutes. And quantization of charge. Quantization of charge. Total charge of an object. Suppose you rub a silk cloth, you rub a glass rod by silk cloth, and what you get? What did you get? You get silk. Glass rod is charged, right? Glass rod is charged, and total charge is integer multiple of electron charge. Integer multiple of electron charge. Any amount of charge, integer multiple of electron charge. So n may be 1, 2, 3. It may be minus or plus. So if charge object is positively charged object, so n will be 1, 2, 3, 4. If charge object is negatively charged object, so it would be minus 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So any amount of charge is the integer multiple of electron charge. So this is known as quantization of charge. So that means total charge divided by electron charge. So it can be divided a number of electron charge. So this small division is known as charge of electron. So this is known as quantization of charge, like quantization of energy. That means light energy can be divided into energy of individual photon. So individual photon, a number of individual photon creates total light energy or total light. Like this, quantization of charge means total charge can be divided into a number of electron charge. So it never 1.5 electron, 2.3 electron, it would not be. It would be integer number of electron charge. Okay, today I would like to wrap. So next class I will continue.